national politics has caught all the attention in the past few days for all the wrong reasons. The smoldering dispute between the chairman duo of the Nepal Communist Party has now ignited with the intensity to split the ruling party itself. If we are to go by our sources, the dispute at the NCP leadership has escalated to a point of beyond repair. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the top stories of the hour. The ruling Nepal Communist Party at the verge of a possible split due to the power conflict. Chairman duo shy away from the blame of the looming split. The government exhibits dual role in the treatment of COVID-19, rules out cost-free treatment and summons hospitals for charging deposit. As prices of the construction materials go down, onus on the builders and contractor companies to thrive on the opportunity for nation building. And Delhi Capitals march into the playoff round of the Indian Premier League. Will take on Mumbai in the first qualifier. The novel coronavirus has continued its surge as a total of 2,933 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed yesterday, taking the total case tally to 176,500. The death toll, meanwhile, has climbed to 984 with 24 deaths due to COVID-19 yesterday. According to the Health Ministry, a total of 13,446 swab samples were tested yesterday, taking the test tally to over 1.45 million. 1,630 cases were reported from the federal capital, as Kathmandu district confirmed 1,329 cases, while Lalitpur reported 193 and Bhaktapur registered 108 cases. Likewise, 3,150 individuals registered full recovery yesterday, taking the national recovery tally to 137,992, while the recovery rate has climbed to 78.2%. According to the Health Ministry, there are over 37,000 active cases in the country, with 6,600 in isolation centers, 30,924 in home isolation and 2,119 corona patients in various quarantine facilities. The ministry informed that 74 patients are receiving treatment with ventilator support, while 347 are in intensive cares. The government has been exhibiting its dual roles for treatment of coronavirus patients, as it has a fixed treatment cost to be charged from patients, while on the other it has sought clarifications from hospitals for charging deposits from the patients. The Health Ministry, meanwhile, has stopped releasing budget to the government hospitals for coronavirus treatment, despite instructing them not to collect deposits from patients. The government on 18th of October announced that it will not offer free treatment for coronavirus patients other than from low-income, underprivileged groups and frontline medical staffers, and issued a notice to all government hospitals to manage the cost on their own. Based on the government decisions, medical colleges, government and community hospitals fixed the deposit amount to be charged from the corona patients. Meanwhile, the capital's Sukraraj Tropical and Infectious Hospitals urged the government to reconsider its decision, saying that it has affected the treatment of the patients. However, the ministry overlooked the approach and instead instructed the hospitals to charge up to 35,000 rupees depending upon the condition of patients. Riding on the instruction, the hospitals released the deposit rate. After widespread criticism, the ministry has sought clarifications from the hospitals who have been accused of depriving treatment to the patients. Meanwhile, many symptomatic patients are compelled to stay at home isolation due to the hospital decision to charge deposits. The government has filed an appeal at the Supreme Court to review its order not to charge any fee for test and treatment of COVID-19 patients. Experts have criticized the government for shifting away from its responsibility to provide basic health facility during the time of pandemic, despite levying exorbitant tax on public. The ruling Nepal Communist Party is at the verge of a possible split due to the power conflict between the chairman duo Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Executive Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal. Despite reaching the crossroad, both the leaders are not ready to lead the division, instead working on a strategy where they can impose the blame of the split on one another. This is not the first time that the ruling NCP has been exposed to intense political crisis due to the power tussle between the two top leaders since the formation of Nepal Communist Party almost 3 years ago. Executive Chairman Dahal, along with party's prominent figures including senior leader duo Chalnath Khanal and Madhav Kumar Nepal and Vice Chairman Bamdev Gautam, have accused Premier Oli of running the party and the government on his own. The Dahal Nepal camp has even warned Prime Minister Oli of removing him from the post of the chairman if decisions made by the Standing Committee meeting in September is not implemented. The disgruntled faction led by Executive Chairman Dahal has been demanding the meetings of the Standing Committee, Secretariat and Central Committee to take a decision against the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Oli, meanwhile, having a majority in the parliamentary party, has speculated that the equation is in his favor and that he cannot be removed by any other committee decision. The chairman duo have now come to a standoff, well realizing that they cannot drag the party together any longer. Political analysts at the same time have opined that both the factions will be bracing up unprecedented challenges if they opt for splitting the party. Earlier, the two leaders, amid escalating dispute, had reached a deal through power sharing. However, power agreement did not even last for a month. Even as there is no sign of reviewing the power deal, both the chairmen do not seem to be in a mindset to carry the blame of the split. Both the demand and prices of construction materials in the market have gone down in recent months. The scenario is mainly attributed to the completion of the damaged structures during 2015 April earthquake, while the prolonged lockdown amid the pandemic had slowed the construction works. Production, import and transport of construction materials were eased, targeting development works after the lockdown was relaxed. However, a dearth of labourers reduced the demand of materials, resulting in the slashing of construction material prices. In comparison to the last year, the price of cement has declined by 50 to 75 rupees per sack, while the prices of iron has fallen by 10 to 15 rupees per every kilogram. The current market price of iron rod is 65 to 70 rupees per kilo, while PPC cement cost 450 to 500 rupees per sack and OPC cement cost 550 to 650 rupees for every sack. Meanwhile, builders expect that the demand for construction materials along with the construction work would gather momentum after Tihar. However, according to builders, the prices of sand and ballast have remained almost intact in comparison to the prices last year. The price of washed sand cost 24,000 rupees per tripper, while raw sand cost 22,000 and ballast are selling for 20,000 rupees for every tripper. However, the prices of bricks have declined to 12 rupees for a single brick, while last year was being sold at a minimum of 15 rupees per piece. Economists feel that the country's economy that was dented due to the pandemic can recover if the builders and contractor companies would thrive on the opportunity. Service seekers other than COVID-19 patients are not in a position to avail for treatment facilities. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Udaipur district what problems have they been facing for receiving treatment for other diseases. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
असहज नै भइरहेछ म आफै पनि अस्ति बिरामी भएर विराटनगर गइरहेको स्थितिमा इमर्जेन्सी केसमा कसैले पनि लिनु चाहिरहेको थिएन मैले पनि अब 102 ज्वरो आइरहेको बेलामा पनि ओपीडीमा चेक गर्नुपर्ने स्थिति भयो सबै हस्पिटल धाइयो कसैले पनि लिनु मानिरहेको छैन यो ठुलो समस्या छ अहिले
राम्रोसँगले पहिला जस्तो ल्याउ जाँचजुँच गर्छु भन्दैनन् के हुन्छ पहिले बाहिरै बसेर भन्छन् घाँटी दुखेर ज्वरो आछ भनेपछि पर जाऊ जाऊ भन्छन् अरु साधारण केही भन्यो भने चाहिँ अनि केही औषधिहरू परै बस भनेर बाहिरबाट राखेर औषधि दिने काम गर्छन्
उपचार पाउन त झन् मुस्किलै छ अब डाक्टर भेटिँदैन मान्छे भेटिँदैन भित्र जानै सहज तरिकाले पाइदैन ज्वरो आउँदा पनि उपचार पाउन मुस्किल छ
बिमारीहरु जाँदाखेरि उपचार गर्न नमान्ने कुराहरु पनि छन् हैन अनि समयमा राति पनि नखोल्ने अस्पतालहरु नखोल्दिने त्यस्तो पनि छ अलि असहज स्थिति छ
हस्पिटलमा जाँदा पनि सेवा पाउन गाह्रो भइरहेछ
हिजो मात्रै गएर जिल्ला अस्पतालमा जाँदाखेरि एकजना मात्रै डाक्टर छन् त्यो कतिजनाको
दरबन्दी थाहा छैन।
जसरी उपचार पाउनुपर्ने थियो मान्छेहरू सामान्य रुगाखोकी एउटा ज्वरो आइरहेको मान्छेलाई पनि नभएकै कारणले अहिले कतिपय मान्छेहरूलाई टाइफाइड भइरहेछ। ज्वरो देखाउन जाने डाक्टरसम्म राम्ररीसँगले फुल्ली नहेर्दैकै कारणले पनि टाइफाइडकै कारणले नै मान्छेको ज्यान गइरहेको अवस्था छ।
मान्छेको कस्तो खालके सोच भयो भनेदेखि अब त्यहाँ जाँदाखेरि अब सर्छ भन्ने आफै पनि नजाने त्यो एउटा कुरा। अर्को कुरा चाहिँ हस्पिटलले पनि सहज रूपमा लिन नमानेको, एडमिसन गर्न नमानेको, रोगीहरूलाई चाहिँ हेरेर नमानेको कारणले चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ एकदम गाह्रो छ।
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What's your take on the government's insistence on taking treatment charges from COVID-19 patients? Your options are A, height of irresponsibility, B, commission gains, and C, compulsion of lack of budget. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And those were our latest headlines. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.